Welcome to my channel. My name is Valerio and today we're gonna do a video a tiny bit different than usual. Today we're gonna go with a tutorial, and like many of you, I found out about the existence of the Zabi real grade mechanical core plating, and I wanted to have a model that was exactly like that, but I didn't want to spend an arm and a leg. So I decided, you know what, I will do it myself. However, at the same time also having this thought, I also thought, you know what, I want the real grade Gundam first and as a Zabi. And that is the reason for this tutorial and this video. Now, what I did buy was the clear version of the real grade Gundam. Now, I was a bit surprised because I thought everything would have been transparent, but some of the clear part are pre-painted and some are not, which is a bit weird. And what I meant is that somebody are like into a white clear paint plastic and the other one are like a fully transparent one out of it. So this is not a problem because if you spray paint a clear color over another one, you end up covering or changing it, as long as you know that, I don't know, two colors together make a third color. If you have the tiny bit of experience with clear color, this is pretty easy, but if you never did anything clear, this tutorial might be useful for you. Now, I am a 5-star story, mainly modeler and collector, so I'm quite well used with clear paint. If you check my Instagram account, you'll be able to see the Mirage boost painted, which is pretty cool, if I might say so. And what we are doing here is the mechanical core plating, which is just another way of calling, you know, painting a standard mortar head. Now, there is a bit of a difference and an issue with it. I bought this kit without actually checking if the part had internal details. What I meant is that all of the Gundam have details on the panel outside, but only a few of them have it inside. Now, these some parts have it, some parts don't have it, but mainly 99% there is no detail. So after I found out that, I say, yeah, maybe not the best candidate for this style of painting. However, I already bought it, so let's see if we can make a lemonade out of lemons. Now, as I was saying, only a few parts have detail. There are some parts that are transparent. However, I decided to give them completely a full opaque coat of it. And by opaque, I don't mean matte. I mean it's non-transparent out of it. And this is the red bit. Why? Because the red bit are so actually small that it's kind of hard to do the effect that you want to do with mechanical core plating, that I will explain how to do it, guys. This is just a presentation about runner and everything. Now, let's look at the paint that we're gonna need. And just to clarify, you don't need exactly the same paint that I have. I will try to give you alternative. However, for something, there are not too many alternatives. You see everything that I paint the kit with here, and I will go one by one. If you cannot find the paint that I'm showing you here, I will speak about some alternative. And if you cannot find alternatives, remember, it's just color for almost everything. So this is the Mr. Metal Primer. This one you should be able to find easily. Why we're speaking metal primer where it's a plastic kit? Because it's transparent. So that is a transparent primer. If you have access to the Gaia multi-primer, way better that one. But the Mr. Metal Primer does exactly the same thing. Now, technically, because we spray with lacquer, we really don't need a primer because lacquer bond with the plastic without much issues. But you know, if you want to do some masking as I did, a primer is. The gray one that I was showing right now is Mr. Hobby primer, highly recommended. And now we go with the metallics. This is the mechanic ore. This is just the equivalent of I don't know, a very dark metallic that I use for the inner frame. Surprise, it was very good. And this is the brilliant gold. This is the best alternative if you don't have access to Gaia gold. This is the ultra metallics by Mr. Color. This is a terrible color. Don't buy it. Honestly, not opaque, not transparent, not shiny, pretty bad. This is a great color, bright silver base by Alclat. You should have access to it pretty much everywhere. And this is the weird option. This is a chrome silver marker by DSPI. So technically, they say this is an acrylics. Not sure about it. Anyway, you clean it with alcohol, just for your info. Doesn't really have a smell. Quite weird. So clear paint. Clear paints, guys, use lacquer if you can. This is Mr. Hobby Lascivious, the clear white. This is what we're going to spray all over our kit. This is Mr. Clear Color blue, deep clear blue. It is for the blue parts. Very good color. I didn't show my thinner inside of it. I just used Mr. Leveling thinner. This is Mr. Clear Color Black 101. And so if you combo the two together, you have gray. Now you want 1 drop of black every 20 of white, otherwise it become very, very dark. And this is Mr. Clear Color Red or Rouge, they call it. And this is the final product. So this is really what binds the whole product together. This is a 2K urethane clear coat, which is the same stuff you put on cars. So guys, don't use this paint unless you have a very, very hardcore setup as I do. So open windows, extractor, high level mask. This is necessary if you look into splash paint, urethane paint. Otherwise, go with a lacquer clear, the Mr. Hobby one, the 114 if I'm not wrong, is pretty good. They're a bit inferior to 2K urethane, but they're still pretty good. Clear acrylic, not as good, unfortunately. Now, let's start with our process. So first thing first, we're going to pick up all of our black part and we're going to prime it. So I've read primer, and this is the real primer. Mr. Hobby has 2 line, primer and surfacer. You want the primer so you can go hardcore with the masking. You want to prime all the not transparent part. For the clear part, you don't want to prime it like that. Otherwise, you cannot do what you came here to look at. Okay? Very clearly, you put the gray over it. Very, very easy. After you did prime everything, and I did prime this one with the transparent clear, primer, this one, because I have access to it. But if you don't have access to it, once again, you really want to use the Mr. Color Metal Primer. I did prime with Gloss Black by Alclad some of the metallic part. I did prime with the primer by Mr. Hobby, everything else. Now, the yellow will go onto the black gloss because the prime metal color, gold works way better over gold glossy. This one will get primed with a transparent primer. And that's all. Everything else go with the gray primer. Now, we did prime everything, and now we're going to go for what is really the mechanical cold plating. So, on the back of it, you are going to spray with the silver base. So there are different options. You can use the silver base, you can use the Mr. Hobby base, you can even use the chrome. They give a tiny different effect, each one of them. Tiny bit different. Like, you don't need to mask, but I have a pretty good hand-eye control, so kind of hard that I screw up. So you want to cover the white part, but if you screw up, just pick up a bit of thinner and clean it off. Very, very easy. So this is what you're going for. You want actually to cover the internal with the metal, so that when you go on the other side, you can see kind of a metallic effect shining through. Now, this is not the final effect we're going for. Without the gloss, this doesn't come up particularly good, but this is what you want. So you want to spray. I don't show a picture of myself spraying inside the boot because I always found it a bit silly, because then people ask me for pressure. Kind of hard to, depends on humidity and a lot of the paints I'm shooting. However, what I was saying is that you turn on the one side and you spray on the internal side with the metallic color. Whatever it is, the metallic color, you want the shiniest possible. Now, technically, the chrome by display is shinier than the bright base silver. However, it is harder to spray, so if you deconcentrate a tiny bit, you make a mess. You go with it with all the piece. Now, this video might have come up way earlier, but I did paint the inner frame, and this is not actually a tutorial about how to paint an inner frame, how to do masking. Let's say that I did exaggerate a tiny bit with the masking, and by a tiny bit I mean quite a lot. And however, because I thought it would have shown up a tiny bit more through the armor, it doesn't at all. So completely, almost a loss of time. Like, it shows up in piece and bits, but nothing really. The final effect is not as clear as would be, I don't know, the Mirage armor, a resin kit, let's put it like that. However, I had fun into it. So these are the metallics we selected before. You can mask, you can detail, you can do whatever you want. This is really not much out of it is going to show up. So Don't worry, but this video honestly could have come up like 1 month earlier if I didn't exaggerate myself with it and went completely overboard. Anyway, highly recommend the iron ore color. Amazing. And now we're gonna look a tiny bit over the clear part. So now we sprayed all the backside of all the parts with the silver. You see everything as the silver inside. We clean up a bit out of it with the thinner. Lacquer thinner, very light, guys, not heavy. The stuff doesn't work. It's not great to do on plastic, but it will not do any effect as long as you put it tiny bit and you clean up immediately, and maybe you give it a wash after. After it, we're gonna spray clear color. 1 light pass, 1 wet pass. This is a clear, so it's gonna end up gloss. Same with the clear white. We're gonna spray all over the white part, because the white part have different back spray. In my case, I did use all the 3 silver that I show below. They will have an effect that is mildly different between one and another. This one, for example, is the Mr. Hobby Ultra Metallic, which is terrible once again. And now let me show you a piece done with the, this is the Ultra Metallics. Let me show a piece that I done with the bright base, with the Alclad bright base. If I have to choose one, would just be the Alclad bright base. Anyway, you see the piece of armors. Very, yet to the touch, because once you do the inner frame, you take it apart to do a final assembly. Now I did put all over it all the clear paint. As you can see, you cannot see the silver anymore. Everything is covered, and they give a tiny bit of a 3D effect. I think opalescent is the proper name. Now water slide decals and panel lining. Panel lining, highly recommend dark gray for everything. Don't go with black, because it's gonna look cartoony in not the good way, but cartoony in the worst possible way. And after that, you see, we have the water slide decals. And now this is the final passage, the one that binds everything together, because like this, it's okay, but it's not as bombastic as it could be. On the side, you see, I have 2 helper today. You know, we put really basic out of. This is not a tutorial for beginner, to be honest. This is just interesting to do this stuff. However, you put the water slide decals, and then you go with the 2K urethane coat. You can use lower grade of clear. It's not gonna have the same effect. We want the maximum clear, because the final effect over a transparent part is not so much as how much grit you use to clean it, is the final clear that you put it on. So I did clean up to 1000 grit, which is not much for clean part, but after I put this one, this is gonna be the magic. And it's very easy to spray. Now we're gonna look at the final bit out of it, our robot. Okay, so it is not exactly what I had in mind, but I'm pretty pleased with the effect. Now, because of the light, or how it catches the light, I can tell you live is better, but it is what everybody say. You can see the color separation of the various parts. The inner frame completely disappeared, if not the part and pieces that are supposed to be shown through. I hope something more would have shown. But overall, this will be the mechanical core plating for the new Gundam. Pretty happy, pretty particular, better than just a normal clear version out of it with a clear coat and decals out of it. Obviously, this took quite a bit of time into it. However, I'm very satisfied with the results. Now I will need a couple of touch-up, and if you notice, I lost a tiny bit of the fit. It's somewhere on my desk. I just have to catch it back. Now, are you interested? Do you like this kind of tutorial? I try to make it as quick as possible. But if you have any question, write in the comment below. I will reply. The next tutorial we're going to do is going to be a very different one, but surprise. And in the while, I will come up with quite some hopefully interesting review out of it. Anyway, I'm always open to questions, so ask me behind anything even more technical, and I will try to reply everything. If you like this kind of content, guys, share, like, usual stuff, subscribe. That obviously help. And also do the Instagram channel, guys, please. Okay? Have a nice day, and bye from Badega.